Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Match 5 by Synapses Games and Luma Imports.
Match 5 is a party game for a lot of players in which you roll dice to determine different categories. And you're going to combine two of those categories, trying to think of a word or phrase to best mix those two categories. And you're going to do that 10 times as fast as you can before the timer runs out, and then compare answers. So first impressions, Sam, what do you think about Match 5?
I thought it was a really interesting setup, how you could change the boards. You know, each board has a front and a back, and then you're also rolling the dice. So right off the bat, you can tell that there's a lot of playability and a lot of variability in the game. So, and it also, it made sense very quickly.
Let's take a look at it on the table, explain to you how it works in more detail, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on this one. All right, I have Match 5 on the table here. Let me explain how this party game works for you all. The first thing to note is that you are going to have two sets of dice to play with. One there, and as you can see, one there. And then you also have two sets of boards that you can play with, and these boards are front and back. And so you'll have to choose which set of dice you want to use and which set of boards you want to use, and which side of those boards you want to use. You only use one set of boards here, but as you can see, there are several different ways in which you can mix and match the components in this game to your liking. And then once you have all that set up, you're going to make sure that everyone receives one of these pads here, these notepads. And so, with that being said, you will roll all the dice. You'll put the dice in the slots depending upon what comes up on the icon here. And you'll slot them in, and that will give you a combination of different words. So for instance, and I know that this does not match, but let's just say that it matches sharp, which a knife is sharp after all. And let's say that we put in sweet. So you would want to come up with something that is sharp and sweet. And you're going to fill that out on your paper here with that correct category. So you can see the purple die and the blue die are there on the last line, and you're going to want to try and come up with something that mixes those two different categories. So sharp, sweet, you might come up with a fork because you need a fork to eat pie, for instance, or something along those lines. But you're going to be doing this under a timer. So you set the timer and everyone is trying to come up with answers for all the different words. And so there are 10 different categories that you're trying to figure out for the first run through. You're going to play 2 different rounds in this game, but you'll stop after the first one. And after everybody has answers, or when the timer runs out, then you're going to stop and you're going to compare answers. And so everyone will read their first answer. And if you have a match with anyone at the table, well, then that's going to give you 2 points. Otherwise, you're only going to receive 1 point unless everyone at the table thinks, you know what, fork is not such a good combination of sharp and sweet. Sorry, no, we're not going to allow that to fly. If the majority says, nope, sorry, that's not a good connection, then you get 0 points. However, if the majority says, yeah, that's a good connection, then you'll get 1 point. So you're either getting 0, 1, or 2 points for each of the combinations of words that you come up with. As you can see on the paper here, you're going to put your total score for round 1 in the first box. You'll roll all the dice again. You can flip over the boards if you want. You can even swap out for the other set of dice and player boards. But you're going to do the second round, repeating the same process. Add scores from rounds 1 and 2 together, and that will give you your final score. Whoever scores the highest is the winner, and that is how you play Match 5. All right, we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Match 5 and what a gamer and non-gamer thinks of it. As you can see, it's a party game. It's one that's going to get your brain working. It's one that's going to get you communicating with one another, combining those 2 words as quickly as you can, seeing what the other players came up with. Sam, what did you think about Match 5?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a better, more exciting version of, now I can't think of the name.
Categories.
Categories, yeah.
she mentioned this to me before.
Yeah. And Categories used to be, before this became our lives, used to be a really fun party game that we played a lot with my family, and I immediately think that a lot of my family members and friends would really enjoy it. And it's very easy to understand, very easy for people to play, which makes it a lot of fun.
Now, Categories for me, Sam, was always a game that kind of drove up the tension or the stress level a little bit, almost to maybe uncomfortable measures for enjoyment purposes. Do you get the same feeling in Match 5?
I don't think to the same extent that you had with Categories. I feel like the different categories, it's just a leveled up version, and I don't feel that way playing it.
No, I would agree with that. I think this is one that you, while you do find that you may not come up with an answer for every line, every round, more often than not, you are going to answer every single one of them. And there are some times when you get a pairing of two words that you're like, man, I don't have a really good answer for this. But more often than not, I felt that I came away walking away with, you know what, I feel pretty confident with the answer that I came up with here. I guess what I'm trying to say is that they were very smart about the words that they picked for the different sides of each die, and really thought it well out as far as putting those words together to help players come up with answers. And so you can tell that they really did their work on putting this together with Match 5. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I think there was a couple, I think maybe just one word the first time we played that was a little bit up for interpretation, and that was space.
Space.
In my mind, I'm thinking space.
Spacious.
But I think everybody else is thinking space.
Space.
So you can play different ways.
Yeah.
I thought both counted, but everybody else didn't.
But that's the thing with party games. I mean, you know, and this is true with a lot of party games in that the rules are loosely defined, and it's a loosey-goosey kind of experience. It's not one meant to be so serious that you end up feeling like, well, I didn't have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And with Match 5, you have that. You have that to the nth degree that, you know what, yeah, we're going to count that word. Or you know what, no, we're not going to count that word. Well, guess what? I'm not going to count your word next round.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a fun back and forth with that. And it's not one that you really feel too much like bridges are burned, or at least we didn't experience that, I don't think. Now, for me, one of the highlights of this game were those moments when you really connected with somebody and it was a shock that you came up with the same word. It was almost like two minds connecting there. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I almost wish that you would get more points for more people, because I think there was one time where 3 of us said the same word. I think that should be worth 3 points. But
yeah, I kind of agree with that. The scoring was a little off to me, which I just mentioned. Party games, you don't take them too seriously.
Yeah.
So here I am nitpicking on the scoring. You know, take that for what it's worth. But I agree. I felt like maybe when you do connect with somebody that the point should have been more than just 1 extra point.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, whatever about that. I feel like, and you mentioned this at the beginning of the video, Sam, that there's a lot of replayability with this game. You know, you have 2 different sets of dice, which I thought was cool. I was only expecting 1 set of dice, quite honestly. And then on those boards, they're back and front. So you have, 2 sets of dice, and the player boards are front and back. So that's, I can't do the math right now, but there's a lot. Oh, yeah, it's right there on the box. 3,000 plus possible combinations. I should just read the box. So yeah, you could play this game 3,000 times and never have the same combinations of the way the words could work out there. And then you take into account, you play this with different people, you're going to come up with different answers, so you'll never get the same responses in this game. So lots going on here with that. What did you think about the look of the game?
Yeah, I thought it was, really interesting. I haven't seen a game like that, especially a party game. There's a lot of those roll and draw and write type of games, and this is definitely a different look than others we've seen before.
It has an appealing look to me about it. You look at the box and it almost feels like a kid's game a little bit, which I think is great for families. It's appealing. It's one that I would reach for on the shelf to want to look at the box, and so you open it up, the dice are bright colors. The symbols on those dice are nice. The dice themselves are great. Lots to like here as far as the components go with this game. So Sam, your thoughts as a non-gamer, what are the pros that you feel about with Match 5?
I thought it was super easy to understand, very quick to play, lots of fun. I think it's a great game to play with a variety of people.
Any cons?
Maybe the scoring, but other than that, no, I don't think so.
All right, well, there you have it. And so would this be one that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good, very good. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give Match 5?
I'd probably give it an 8.5.
Whoa, 8.5. That's way high, way high. Very nice. You know what? For party games' sakes, for me personally, I don't know if everybody does this. I do rate party games differently than any other kinds of games because it's a different experience. Yeah. You're there to, laugh. You're there to converse. You're there to not so much do strategy thinking. And so as far as that goes, Match 5 hits it out of the ballpark for me as well. And I think I would probably give it an 8.2. Like I said, hits everything out of the park for me as far as party games go. All right, so Match 5, high ratings, Illuma Imports, Synapses Games. Go check it out.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push the bell button so you get notifications of all our new content, and check out our website for Love to Hate apparel.
All right, there you have it. I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And this has been Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.